Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Sata Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya Ashtotar Sata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Iskcon founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Sikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaurabhaktavinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Mai Ki Jai. Yamuna Mai Ki Jai. Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Tulsi Devi Ki Jai. Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yogi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai. Nitai Gaura Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Banachari Jamunatira Banachari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Sarva. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda, Jaya Jayam Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivajakacarya Satotar Sata His Divine Grace. ऐसे भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, श्री श्री राधा नीला माधव की जय, श्री श्री राधा गिरिधारी की जय, श्री श्री गिरिराज गोवर्धन की जय, श्री श्री गौर निताय की जय, गौर भक्तविंद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि बोल. All glories to assembled devotee, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotee, Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotee, Hare Krishna. All glories to lotus feet of Sri Guru and Gauranga. Hari Hari Bol. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Tamal Krishna Goswami Ti Namine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 8, the story of Pingala, text number 19. Jihvayati premathinya jano rasa vimohitaha mrityum rachati asadbuddhir minastu badisairyatha jihvayati premathinyam jano rasa vimohitaha mrityum richati asadbuddhir minastu badisairyatha. Please chant. Jivayati premathinya jano rasa vimohita vichati asad buddhir minastu badisairyatha jivayati pramathinya jano rasa vimotiha mityurachati asad buddhir minastu badisairyatha. Jivayati premathinya jano rasa vimohitaha mityum richati asad buddhir minastu badisairyatha. Jivayati premathinya jano rasa vimohitaha mityam richati asad buddhir minastu badisairyatha. Jivayati premathinya jano rasa vimohita mityam richati asad buddhir minastu badisairyatha. Jihvaya, by the tongue. Ati premathinya, which is extremely disturbing. Janaha, a person. Rasa vimohitaha, bewildered by attraction to taste. Mrityum, death. Richati, achieves. Asat, useless. Buddhiha, whose intelligence. Minaha, the fish. Tu, indeed. Badisai, by the hooks. Yatha, just as. Translation and purport by the disciple of His Divine Loving Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Just as fish, incited by the desire to enjoy his tongue, is fatally trapped on the fisherman's hook, similarly, a foolish person is bewildered by the extremely disturbing urges of the tongue and thus is ruined. Someone can read the purport.
The fisherman places meaty bait on a sharp hook and easily attracts the unintelligent fish, who is greedy to enjoy its tongue. Similarly, people are mad after gratifying their tongues and lose all discrimination in their eating habits. For momentary gratification, they construct huge slaughterhouses and kill millions of innocent creatures, and by inflicting such atrocious suffering, they prepare a ghastly future for themselves. But even if one eats only the foods authorized in the Vedas, there is still danger. One may eat too sumptuously, and then the artificially stuffed belly will create pressure on the sexual organs. Thus, one will fall down into the lower modes of nature and commit sinful activities that lead to the death of one's spiritual life. From the fish, one should carefully learn the real dangers involved in gratifying the tongue.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine. Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vayayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. So this is very nice instruction here. We have been discussing about the different gurus, right? So, day before yesterday, Sarang Thakur Prabhu was giving class and he was saying how many we talked about, 12, 11, something like that. So, yeah, about 12, yeah. So, today maybe 13th, fish, right? So, the instruction is given here that just as the fish, because they like the taste of that worm at the end of the hook, so when fish try to eat that, fish get hooked and lose its life. So similarly, here the point is made that foolish person who are bewildered by their tongue's taste, eat so many abominable things, and by doing that wasted the life, and here it says and it thus ruined. So everything is ruined because of. And Rupa Goswami also says that in Nectar of Devotion, Nectar of Instruction, that if one control the tongue, belly and genital, it's all in one line, then one can control their mind. Otherwise, it's very difficult to control. And we as a devotee, we eat Krishna Prasad, right? So, rather than talk about so many other things about how the karmis enjoy in this life, and here is mentioned, and Prabhupada also mentioned many times that yes, Vedic literature also give the permission to eat meat, but that's something you have to kill yourself, and it's a dark moon night only, so that's only once a month, and you worship or you say prayers in the year. This life I am killing you, next life you kill me. The intelligent person would come to the conclusion, why I am doing these things? Just for eating once a month, I have to come back and many lifetime, and this creature is going to kill me. So that doesn't make any sense. But when you have a slaughterhouse made very nicely, you just go and buy the meat and eat, you think it's very nice. You never think about anything, right? You ask the children, who are maybe 5, 7-year-old, 10-year-old even, you ask them where you get the meat, and they would say, Kroger or H-E-B or Walmart or whatever it is, So they have no idea because nobody is teaching them. Nobody is understanding where it's come from. And same thing, if you ask them where the vegetable comes from, they will say the same thing. It comes from the grocery store. So, like I mentioned in the past also, in the 70s, there was I remember seeing the commercial on television where the kid is sleeping and he's like dreaming about something very nice thing. And on one tree, all the hamburgers are hanging. So the kid is dreaming, and then he wake up and, he wants that. So it's just like a fruit of the tree. That's how it's narrated, So the kids think that, maybe if they keep watching this, where it comes from the tree. So Srila Prabhupada says that the civilization here is, and everywhere, here means that in today's day and age, because India is also a big place of cow killing now. They are exporting so much meet. So it's unfortunate. But so because of this desire to enjoy, but the devotees desire to respect, partake in prasadam, right? And we don't say eat, right? Was it, I don't remember, it was like 70, 71, something like that. Srila Prabhupada wanted to establish a deity in London. So there was no deity, and Prabhupada said, yeah, we're going to establish the Radha Krishna deity. And everybody was thinking, where the deity is going to come? We don't have a deity. Prabhupada didn't order the deity. And anyway, we have this whole nice pastime about Radha Londoneshwar come to the temple. So when the deity they were ready to install, and they were sending out the invitation, Tamal Krishna Maharaj made the invitation, and he wrote that please come and enjoy this nice festivity and take prasadam. And when Srila Prabhupada saw that, Prabhupada says, no, honor prasadam. Prabhupada corrected him, and he said, no, change that word. We don't take prasad, we honor prasad, because prasad and Krishna is not different. Srila Prabhupada said that. So there is a very nice pastime about Lord Jagannath. We know that Lord Jagannath, what they say, how many times they offered? 56 times a day? Yeah. So, yeah. And it says that Lord Jagannath don't even wash his hand, right? Because if you eat 56 times a day, when is the time to wash hand and take rest or anything? It just... But a very nice pastime where Narada Muni go to the spiritual world, and he is serving Mother Lakshmi to serve Lord Narayan. And Lakshmi ji was serving, and Lord Narayan told in the past to Lakshmi Devi that don't give my prasadam to anybody else. So, Lakshmi Devi every day. So Narada Muni was helping Lakshmi Devi so nicely. And so one day Lakshmi Devi said, you are helping so nicely. You like anything, I can fulfill your desire. So Narada Muni says that, Mother, if you don't mind, I want some prasadam from Lord Narayan. So now Mother Lakshmi was in dilemma. One side she gave him a promise, and the other side Lord Narayan said, don't give my prasadam to anyone else. So, but anyway, she said that, Lord Narayan told me not to give it to anybody, but I will give it to you. So then next day, when he got prasad, he was so happy. He was so happy, and he also forgot to wash his hand. And he was just chanting Lord's name, and Narada Muni Bhajaye Bina, Radhika Ramana. So he was just so happy. So Lord Shiva saw him, and Lord Shiva and Narada Munis are brother, right? They are all both son of Brahma. So when they saw each other, and also Lord Shiva has a lot of respect, both of them has a lot of respect for each other because they are Vaishnavas. So when they saw each other, they hug each other, and Lord Shiva asked him, how come you are so happy? So, well, he just narrated the whole story. I got the Mahaprasad from Lord Narayan. So then Lord Shiva says, I'm your brother, you didn't keep anything for me? And Narada Muni said, I'm really sorry, but I didn't wash my hand. So Lord Shiva ate from Narada Muni's hand, and he started dancing, and he's chanting, and he was so happy. So when they both are chanting and dancing, Mother Parvati saw it, and Mother Parvati asked Lord Shiva, what's happening? Why you are so happy? Give me some good news. So Lord Shiva says that, he narrated the whole story, that Narada Muni got Lord Narayan's Mahaprasad, and he ate, and he didn't have any, but there was little something on his finger. I ate it, and we both are in ecstasy. So then Parvati says, I'm your better half. What happened? You forgot me? So she became very upset. She said, how can you forget me and our children? And Parvati became very upset, and she worshipped the Lord, did a lot of tapasya, austerity, and worshipped the Lord. And Lord gave her the darshan and said that, how can I serve you? What do you like to have? And she said that, Narada Muni got prasad, my husband got prasad, I didn't get any prasad, and my children didn't get any prasad. So then Lord says that, and Lord says that your children? So he goes, yeah, everybody is, all this humanity is all my children. So Lord said, yes, when I come as a Lord Jagannath, they will keep offering me whole day and then they can keep having prasad. So that's why Lord Jagannath is very kind and we are getting prasad. And as a servant of Lord Jagannath, Srila Prabhupada is so kind that he established Jagannath deity everywhere, all over the world. And so we can have a prasadam everywhere. Not only that, now we have a Ratha Yatra, so we go outside and distribute prasad. So everybody is getting prasad. So it is by the mercy of Parvati that we are all getting prasadam. We see it in the pastime of Caitanya Mahaprabhu also, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took a sannyas, and when he was leaving, the mother requested that please stay in Jagannath Puri. So you at least many devotees go from Bengal to Jagannath Puri. So I will get your news. And Vrindavan is too far. Not many people go from Bengal to Vrindavan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted that, and he stayed in Jagannath Puri, close by. But whenever Mother Sachi, every day she cooked and she offered, she had a Bal Gopal. She offered to Bal Gopal, and she would say also desire that my Nimai would take some. And the Nimai, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Mother, anytime you want me to, you just remember me, I'll come and take it. So sometimes she offered to the Bal Gopal, and then she would think, everything is gone, what happened? Who ate it? Maybe Gopal is eating it? Or maybe I forgot to put on the tray. She goes to the kitchen and she sees, and all the bogas is also there. She thought, oh, maybe let me make another plate. She wash it and she make another plate and put it in front of Gopal, and Mahaprabhu eat everything. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was always taking prasadam whenever the mother cook, and that means every day. So every day he was going there and taking nice prasad. So we know that we see the pastime of Haridas Thakur, and in our Parikrama Marg, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is holding the body of Haridas Thakur. So Haridas Thakur was leaving his body. He realized that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is ready to finish his pastime. So he requested Mahaprabhu that, I don't want to see your final pastime. I want to leave before you leave. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is the Supreme Lord, but he always used to say, okay, if that is what your desire, then may Lord Jagannath fulfill your desire. He is not different from Lord Jagannath, but he always say that, because he came as a devotee of the Lord. So next day and every day, because Haridas Thakur was born in the Muslim family, so he won't go to the Lord Jagannath temple. He would just look at the chakra from distance. And every day, Lord Chaitanya would go at noon time to take a bath in ocean, and then he come and see Haridas Thakur. So you come and see Haridas Thakur at that time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's servant will bring some prasadam for Haridas Thakur also. So one day he came, and then Haridas Thakur was laying down, and he said, Haridas Thakur, how come you are sleeping? You are feeling okay? And he was ready to leave body. He wasn't in a good health. But he says that I haven't finished my round. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that you are Namacharya. Whole life you have chanted so many rounds. It's okay, take some prasadam. So Haridas Thakur says, no, I have not finished my chanting my regular number of rounds. How can I eat? But you have brought Mahaprasad, how can I neglect it? So it was a dilemma for him. For us we have no dilemma. Right? Prasadam time, right? In the class it says, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We fall asleep. Sarira Rabidyaja. All right, prasadam time. We become awake, we become alert. So for us it's not a problem. But for Haridas Thakur, he was saying that this is not proper. But he bought a Mahaprasad. So a very nice purport Prabhupada write. I am reading the purport. Mahaprasad is not different from Krishna. Therefore, instead of eating Mahaprasad, one should honor it. It is said here, Karila Vandana. He offered prayers. When taking Mahaprasadam, one should not consider the food ordinary preparation. Prasad means favor. One should consider Mahaprasad a favor of Krishna. As stated by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Krishna bada dayamoy, kori bara jiva jai, swa prasada annadi lobai. Krishna is very kind in this material world. We are all very much attached to tasting various types of food. Therefore, Krishna eats many nice varieties of food and offers the food back to the devotees. So that not only are one's demand for various tastes satisfied, but by eating prasadam, one makes advancement in spiritual life. Therefore, we should never consider ordinary food on an equal level with Mahaprasad. Yes. It's a pastime, I didn't write down here, but it's in the Chaitanya Charitamrita where the pastime of Srila Haridas Thakur. Yeah. So, that is very nice to describe. We also remember the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was a little boy. On Ekadasi day, he wasn't eat, at that one Ekadasi he didn't want to eat home. And because Hiranya and Jagadish's house, they were Brahmins and they were doing Ekadasi and they were offering Ekadasi bhoga to the deity. So Mahaprabhu said he wants that. And the only thing he asked, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked from his mother, is to always follow the Ekadasi. It described that she wasn't doing it before, but when Mahaprabhu requested it, she always fasting on Ekadasi day. So here's, and this is something also it says, from the very beginning of his childhood life, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu introduced the system of observing a fast on Ekadasi day. In the Bhakti Sandarbha by Srila Jiva Goswami, there is a quotation from Skanda Purana admonishing that a person who eats grain on Ekadasi becomes a murderer of his mother, father, brother and spiritual master. And even if he is elevated to the Vaikuntha planet, he falls down. So they do Ekadasi in Vaikuntha planet also. Must be, right? Because it's, how can they fall down from Vaikuntha planet? So they must be doing Ekadasi. And so this is very important that we understand. Also the cheap rice festival, it happened where Raghunath Das Goswami comes and Nityananda Prabhu was informed by his servant that here is the Raghu is bowing down to you, and then Nityananda Prabhu called him and ordered him to have a big cheap rice festival. And that cheap rice festival was very nice festival, and so many devotees came, and they were all given the prasadam. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came, right? So here I'm reading something. Lord Nityananda brought Lord Chaitanya in meditation. When Lord Chaitanya arrived there, Lord Nityananda went to everyone and took one morsel of cheap rice from every pot and put it in the mouth of Lord Chaitanya as a joke. In turn, Lord Chaitanya did the same to Lord Nityananda in a great joy. But only a few fortunate devotees could see Lord Chaitanya, as he was not visible to others. After this, both Lord Nityananda and Chaitanya ate the cheap rice, and the remaining was given by Lord Nityananda to Raghunath Das Goswami. So this is something very nice reciprocation between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu with Raghunath Das Goswami, and he was fortunate enough to have that prasadam. We see in Chaitanya Charitamrita there are so many pastimes, prasadam pastimes, right? And we know that in Srila Prabhupada's life also there were so many prasadam pastime. Prabhupada was very particular about what he eats, right? But still, anybody would eat something, he would accept little, right? One time in Bombay at some life member's house, he was a rich person and they were taking prasadam. Prabhupada was sitting here and like both sides, his disciple was sitting and they were taking, then Prabhupada said, take some more. And then one disciple said, Prabhupada, in sabji there are some onion, right? And the guest was standing right there. And then Prabhupada says, oh, there is no onion. Take some more sabji. He was telling his disciple to take more even. So we have to see that, even the Prabhupada was very strict, but he was very practical. So here I have some notes here. It says, so the spiritual master is satisfied when he sees the devotee eating Bhagavad Prasad. So this is one of the ornaments of the devotee. As he advances, he is happy to see others eat. That's a very nice point Srila Prabhupada is making. That is not only that we are happy to take prasad, but when others are eating prasad, we also should become very happy. And Srila Prabhupada says that one who is happy to see others eat, they should cook prasad and they should serve prasad. Right? Prabhupada also said that those who are serving make their plate first and put it on side so they won't be worried about their own prasad. Right? Very practical. But at the same time, then they will serve very nicely, very happily. They won't think about it, oh, if I serve out everything, then I'm not going to get. So this is Prabhupada's instruction. Bhakti Vidyapurna Maharaj was giving in Mayapur 98 class, that's when he said this, so those who become happy in seeing others eat, and at least who are in a positive mood for tolerating other people eating, only they should be actually dealing with prasadam cooking and serving. So then Srila Prabhupada's servant is saying, Srila Prabhupada ate in silence and he ate alone. It wasn't eating, he was actually relishing. He was meditating on each dish. He saw Krishna in everything. Prabhupada said, we cook what Krishna likes. Shruti Rupa explained, and he would tell us, I like what Krishna likes. Very nice. Prabhupada said, we cook what Krishna likes, and then Prabhupada said, I like what Krishna likes. It means that Prabhupada said that we should eat Krishna Prasad. One time Srila Prabhupada was taking massage in Vrindavan, behind the temple. There's a Prabhupada's house there. So then Prabhupada was taking massage and Prabhupada was talking with Shrutakirti Prabhu. And he was saying that, Jai Shri Shri Radha Nila Madhav Radha Giridhari Giraj Govardhan Gaurnitai Ki Jai. So Srila Prabhupada was saying that every day Krishna, Balaram and all his friends, they go to the Vrindavan forest and their mothers give them prasadam. So naturally the Mother Yashoda would give very nice prasad, right? Some rasagulla and some kachoris and some sundaes and all nice prasad. And the cowherd friends comes, their mother would give little simple prasad, maybe puri and sabji and some buttermilk and some butter. So when they go to the forest, they would, what they do, right? The Brahma Vimohan Lila, they were sharing with each other. So the cowherd boys, they would give some buttermilk, some sabji and puri, some butter to Krishna. And what Krishna would give it to the boys? Kachoris, rasgullas, right? And Prabhupada says that I want to go back to have that kachori. So it's very nice that meditation, how Prabhupada, we understand that Prabhupada was a Nitya Siddha, right? And Prabhupada was the eternal servant of Krishna in spiritual world. So this is something very, very nice pastime that we can remember of Srila Prabhupada. The second or third year in Mayapur, when they first started, they bought a land, and second year there was a big festival, Mayapur festival, and the devotee came from all over the world. And then they had a big prasadam, and then after they finished prasadam, I'm reading here, it was the second or third international Mayapur festival. We had just finished the 4-story building, which is today known as the Lotus Building. Srila Prabhupada had invited several devotees from all over the world for the inauguration of this mandir. On this occasion, we had a big feast. After the feast, Prabhupada took the prasadam and then a little rest. But his rest was disturbed by the howling of the dogs, and he got up. Prabhupada said, "Bring all the sannyasis, bring the GBC immediately. Bring them." Usually, if Prabhupada wanted to say something, he would say, "Bring my secretary." But in Mayapur, he would call everyone, he would want everyone to hear what he was saying. At that time, devotees were just recovering from the big feast. When Prabhupada called, all the devotees come down rushing. What is Prabhupada is calling for? What is happening? They saw Prabhupada looking out of the window intently with tears in his eyes. He was crying. They looked out and saw a big pile of leaf plates thrown at the back of a temple after the feast. There were about 15 dogs and about 15 to 20 boys and girls. Little kids between 8 and 14 years. Picking through the leaves and fighting off the dogs, they were eating the leftover and licking the leaves. They were ordinary village children who were basically clean but poor. Prabhupada was silent and everyone was astonished as to what Prabhupada was trying to communicate. Then Prabhupada revealed his mind how hungry they must be. They are picking the prasadam from the pile, they must be so hungry. We must arrange for their prasadam. If you want to make this a mandir, a house of Krishna, then you must see that within 10-kilometer radius, no one goes hungry. That will be your success. Krishna is everyone's father. How can the son goes hungry in the presence of the father? Immediately arrange to distribute the prasadam. When Prabhupada wanted something done immediately, it means immediately, not next day. But they say, anyway, we couldn't do it that day, but they start doing it from next day. So we have that prasadam distributing is, this was by Jayapataka, this story is told by Jayapataka Maharaj. So we can see that how Srila Prabhupada has started prasadam distribution. Many devotees think that by eating prasadam, an animal will get a human body, right? Many times we talk about it, right? One lady came and, see, Prabhupada was talking to her and she was like, Prabhupada said if one may take a birth of a bird, an animal, and then as soon as she heard a bird, her eyes widened up and she said, bird, yes, they are free, they are flying, they are so nice. And she was just enamored by the birds. And she said, I want to be free, fly like a bird. And so she missed the point, like many times we try to preach to somebody, like we are talking now, but dog won't understand. Oh, my dog is smart, So they talk about dog, but we are just making the... So similarly, that lady was talking about the bird. And Prabhupada didn't preach to her much, and Prabhupada says that, make sure give her some prasadam. So after she left, Prabhupada says that, just because she took a prasadam, she may not have to take bird's life. So here it says that what Srila Prabhupada said in a lecture in Hawaii in January 1974. Many devotees think that by eating prasadam, an animal will get a human body in its next life, and if human being eats prasadam, he will become a devotee in next life. In his lecture dated January 1974 in Hawaii, Srila Prabhupada gives clear information on this subject matter. So this is a question by Bali Mardan Prabhu. I believe I have heard you said in other lectures that a person who takes prasadam, even a plant or an animal, any kind of living entity who takes prasadam or hears the name, that it will come back at least to human form of life. Is that correct? Srila Prabhupada. No. If he is a devotee, then he'll come. But this taking of prasadam or hearing Hare Krishna mantra is advancement for becoming a devotee. But if he takes prasadam not as ordinary prasadam, foodstuffs, he believes that this is a remnants of foodstuffs given to God. If he understands this philosophy, then guaranteed. If he takes the prasadam as ordinary food, all right, these people are distributing, let me take it, it is very tasteful. So Prabhupada's point was that just by taking prasadam, you don't get the human body. But if we understand what is prasadam and then we respect it, then Prabhupada says that human birth is guaranteed. But at the same time, Prabhupada explained that when we give it to prasadam, those people who are not a devotee, they take it slowly and slowly. By taking that also, they'll come to the stage of that understanding that this is Krishna Prasad. So in either way, by hearing the holy name or by taking prasad, one spiritual life does begin. But the human form of life not necessary is the... Prabhupada said, it is true that if you take prasadam even once, you are guaranteed a human birth. Prabhupada said, yes, and all the devotees said, hooray! They were all happy that because they all had prasadam, right? We were thinking, now we have got it made. We have got a human birth coming, and that's all we want to think about. But Prabhupada became grave and didn't say anything for a few seconds. Then he said, but there are some species of monkeys that are considered human beings. So, this is by Siddhanta Prabhu, that documentary he has. So then one time Srila Prabhupada's servant was serving prasadam, and his secretary and all that, they also took prasadam. Brahmananda Swami was there. He was a sannyasi at that time. And they ate, and they didn't have a place to wash. Only one place they can wash the plates. Outside there was no water. So they left the plates there for Mataji, who cooked for Prabhupada and cooked for all the devotees, 3-4 devotees. She has to clean all the pots, and she has to clean these plates also. So when Prabhupada saw this, Prabhupada says that why is the plate is here? And anyway, so here is what Prabhupada is saying. Prabhupada said, what is this? And I saw the plates. Normally I would have taken them and washed them right away. I said, oh, that's a mistake, Prabhupada. I was supposed to clean them, and he looked quite displeased. So immediately Prabhupada walked through his house to the front room where his secretaries lived. And seeing that Prabhupada was displeased, I picked up the plates and came back way to show Brahmananda what Prabhupada has seen and how he wasn't happy about it. So simultaneously Prabhupada came from one door and I came from the another door with the plates in my hand. And Prabhupada called me in and had me show them the plates with the prasadam on it. So there was some prasadam left over, right? And he explained to them that no matter who you are, no matter whether you are a GBC or anyone, once you touch the plate, whatever is on the plate, you have to finish it, because it is prasadam. You shouldn't leave any prasadam on the plate. So Brahmananda jokingly said, but Prabhupada, I had burped. Right? You have burped, then you say, well, now it's satisfied. I thought that after you burped, you couldn't finish it. Prabhupada then said, you can take off first. If they have given you too much, before you start, you take off, and that doesn't have to be completed. So you should take it out if you think it's too much. But whatever you have on your plate, when you start, you have to finish that prasadam. So remember Srila Prabhupada's instruction. Sometimes we like something, we eat, and sometimes we don't like, we leave it. But remember what Prabhupada said. Srila Prabhupada said, if by the tongue you can chant Hare Krishna mantra and by the tongue you take prasadam, you will be perfect simply by executing these two things. Then Prabhupada says also that about prasadam distribution. Prabhupada said, Daridra Narayan Seva. In India it's a big thing, right? Daridra Narayan means the poor people. They are also Narayan. I am Narayan, you are Narayan, so we should serve them. No, we are not after that. We are giving you prasadam, and that is a fact. That by eating, you one day become Krishna conscious, simply by eating. Because you are so dull, you cannot understand the philosophy. You know the belly like the animals. So therefore we are giving you facility. All right, fill up your belly, and you will be infected. As you take foodstuff from infected area, you become infected with some disease. So this is Krishna infected prasadam. You take it, and one day you will be diseased with Krishna consciousness. Hari Bol. Srila Prabhupada is. So, in what order one should eat, right? We have a different. So here, in Hari Bhakti Vilas mentioned that one should start with eating by little sweet. That's what Hari Bhakti Vilas said, okay? Then take salty and sour items and then pungent and bitter items. Liquid food should be taken at the beginning and the end of the meal, and solid food should be taken in the middle. This system is still followed in South India. In Bengal, the custom is to take a bitter food first and end with sweet. Different style of cooking require that the different food be eaten in a different order. As far as I know, we honor the sweet prasadam first of all. Now, the next sentence is talking about Mahaprasad. Even if it is hot prasadam or a sweet prasadam, the moment prasadam comes into your hand, we respect it and partake it. We don't consume it in the end like a dessert. So when you get Mahaprasad, you just eat it. It doesn't have to be at the end, middle. Prasadam is to be taken first before any meal, be it hot or sweet. So Mahaprasad, when we get, just partake it. Because this body belongs to Krishna and we are using it in His service, it should be kept in a good working order. A little dal, little rice, some vegetable and a few chapatis is a substantial diet, along with the little fruit and milk and pizza. No, it doesn't say pizza. So this is what Srila Prabhupada says, that you require very simple. 2 cups of milk a day is sufficient. The Ayurvedic system of eating is to decide how much you can comfortably eat. So Prabhupada is saying, then take a half of that amount. So whatever you can eat, take half of the amount. Fill the remaining half, 1/4 with water and 1/4 leaving for air. This simple, regulated diet along with a strict cleanliness will keep one healthy, strong and free of disease. So, there's one very nice pastime of Hari Suri Prabhu. Sudhakirti Prabhu says that they were traveling on the plane and Srila Prabhupada ate some puff rice and peanut. And after that, Prabhupada gave it to the Sudhakirti Prabhu. So the servant was eating, and before even Sudhakirti Prabhu started eating, the air hostess was passing by, and she got some, and she just popped in the mouth, and they were all like shocked, And then she came back and she said, "Can I get you anything else?" And so Prabhupada said, "Yeah, give me some milk." So she went there, to the first class, and she got some milk, hot milk, and gave it to all of them. That was just the one part of the story. The second part of the story, after many, many years, it described that here. Another part 2, he was recently again in South America doing a preaching tour, enlivening devotees there. So this is Sudhakirti Prabhu. Afterwards, one devotee came up to him and asked, would Sudhakirti Prabhu like to hear an amazing story? This devotee was out in some remote village doing door-to-door selling books when he knocked on a door. A lady opened the door wearing tilak. She then invited the devotees in her house, was like a little temple, an altar with the deities, picture on the walls, and all of Prabhupada's book in Portuguese in her bookshelves. The devotees just had to ask her how she became a devotee. She said she used to be an airline hostess some years ago, and she met the author of these books. He was so saintly and gentle and kind that she looked up who he was, and then what he did from his boarding pass name. So from boarding pass she got the name, and then she inquired about it. Then she got some of his books and began to read. They say to chant, so she chanted. Offer her food to Krishna, so she did all that and became a devotee from that small contact. Sutakirti got smacked while at the same time understood the potency of prasadam and even the moments of association with a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada. Now that has become one of the Sutakirti's favorite story to tell. So, Srila Prabhupada also says Srimati Radharani. Radharani's excellence was her cooking. Prabhupada said, she could also sing and dance. We know Radharani is expert in many things. Prabhupada says she could sing and dance, but her great service was her cooking for Krishna. Mother Yasoda would ask her personally to come and cook for Krishna and the cowherd boys. So all in a line, she would feed them prasadam. Prasadam time. Anyone has any question, any correction? Yes.
Thank you for class, Prabhu. I've heard that if a living entity, such as an animal or even a person, eats prasadam but they don't know it's prasadam, that they'll have the opportunity to have prasadam in their next life, but I don't know any sources. Do you know anything about this?
They would get anyone take prasadam, as Prabhupada says, like a medicine, right? When somebody know the name of the medicine or how it made and what are the ingredients, doesn't matter. If you take medicine, it would help. So similarly, when one take prasadam, it would help. The question is that, like what Prabhupada was saying, that how would it help? Do they become a human being? Prabhupada said not right away, but because they have taken prasadam, they would have opportunity to take prasadam again and again and again. And because they are taking prasadam again and again, their mind or intelligence become purified. So one day they will become a devotee. So what your question is that, yes, if somebody, some even animal or somebody they don't know, or some persons, they don't know the potency of prasadam, but because they are eating, they are taking it, they will have some effect, positive effect, yes. Not right away, it may take some time, but yes, there is the effects are there.
On that last point you were making about like it'll have a small effect or like it'll have a effect, there's the verse 240, or even like a little advancement or a slight advancement on this path can protect one from the most dangerous type of fear.
Yeah.
So I was told it protects you from taking a non-human form of life.
Okay. Yeah.
So I guess, is it guaranteed that like even the slightest thing, like slightest devotional service will protect you from that?
What I read and what I always thought that, yeah, it would help and it should help, but how much it help, it depends. I don't think that we would ever find out for sure, because the karma reaction is very intertwined and there are so many other things are involved in there. So, but it does help. But you are referring to Salpamapiyasa Dharmasya Trayate Mahatobhaya. That little devotional service can help someone in the Trayate Mahatobhayat, that very dangerous situation. It will help. And what is the most dangerous situation in human life one can have is a time of death. I don't think anything more dangerous than that. So, if we have done some devotional service, it would help us, So, by taking little prasadam, unknowingly also would help, probably. But it's hard to figure out exactly that yes, it's help, yes, it don't help, because there are so many other things are involved also. Yes.
And just in relation, there's this pastime, I don't know it too well, but I think it was one of the 6 Goswamis. They washed their hands in this river and the fish ate the prasadam that went down the river and they became liberated. Ramanujacharya? Mm-hmm.
Ramanujacharya, okay. So Ramanujacharya, he was washing the hand and the fish were getting liberated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But one thing we have to remember that this personality is something else. They are from spiritual world. We can wash our hand. I don't know whether anybody get liberation or not. So there is a difference, just like that this air hostess just took few pieces of puff rice and you can see the changes. So, but the prasadam has a potency, And just like Mahatma Prabhu was saying that Prabhupada started this movement and we were like, he was a temple president in Vancouver and he didn't have anybody and but one thing he was doing, he was praying to Prabhupada. He said, Prabhupada, how am I going to make anybody here devotee? I don't know how to do it. I don't know, what to do. And he said, 2 years later or 3 years later when he left, there were 20 devotees. And he said, he don't think that he was qualified. So the point is that we may not be qualified, but if we try to follow a qualified person, then some results are there, So we may not be able to liberate anybody right away, but we give them a path on devotional service, beginning their spiritual life. Radha Krishna Prabhu, you like to add something?
I think you answered his question. Yeah.
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 Sarvabhauma Prabhu, you like to add something?
Like take prasadam one time and you'll be a human birth, but I think you explained nicely that prasadam has an effect, but there's other factors. I mean, one time I was on traveling Sankirtan and I was in South Florida in Abhiram. I went to the grocery store and I saw a devotee with a bead bag and he gave me Abhiram's phone number. And his wife was pregnant, but he had cooked himself. And he invited me for prasadam. It was kind of late at night, I wasn't hungry. There's a big mountain of prasadam. So I saw it kind of materially. I thought if I eat this, I'm going to sleep so late. But he sort of read my mind. He said, this is prasadam. I remember eating it, honoring it, and thinking I'll really crash out. But I woke up really early in the morning. I felt really good. I felt he was teaching me a lesson to see prasadam spiritually. So I think seeing the prasadam in the right attitude, like the quote you said of Prabhupada, that if somebody doesn't know his prasadam, it's respecting it is part of the whole ball game, so to speak.
Yeah. Sometimes somebody offers us some prasadam and if we don't like it, what's going to happen now? We can respect it. We can touch prasad and we can go, So, somebody gave us, I don't know what, Karela sabji. I don't eat Karela, so that's why it just came to my mind. But, bitter things, if you don't like it, just So respect doesn't mean that you have to eat it and then curse that person. How can you give me this prasad, Mataji, they are the cook, Guru Priya, Guru Bhakti. You like to add something? No? Anyone else like to say something? All right. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhakta Vinda ki jai, Mahaprasadam ki jai.